Hey performers, welcome back. So funny story for you. Did you know that I was actually discovered by an old band when I was singing Celine Dion? Yeah, true story. I'll tell you all about it after the intro. Welcome back to Danny Robertson Music, where we try to help you become the best possible performer that you can be on whatever stage you choose. I'm Danny Robertson. Thanks for joining us again this week. If you haven't seen us before, do remember that you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and join our email list at DannyRobertsonMusic.com for all of the newest updates that we do pretty much weekly. Yes, it's true. I was discovered by an old band because I was singing Celine Dion. There's a story that made it into an article about the band at one point in time that talks about, according to band lore, that's how I was found, and there's some truth to that. I was actually at a karaoke night with some friends, and a mutual friend introduced me to the guy who would be my drummer. Shortly after meeting him, I was called up to sing a song for karaoke night, and it was out of a dare that somebody had suggested I sing Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. So of course I did it. Why not, right? It was all meant to be a joke, but then I sat back down at the table where I had just met this drummer, and he goes, "Dude, you are awesome. You totally need to join my band." It's a fun story to tell, and that's the entire point of this video. We as performers are not just singers or dancers or musicians, we are storytellers. Now, if that is something that you have not incorporated into your live performance, I really encourage you to start thinking about how you can present a story to your crowd, something that is relatable and makes them want to pay attention to you. What is your story? Today, we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can present your story to your audience. And I'm going to show you that with 3 different kinds of performers. The first and most obvious type of storytelling that you can do is your own history. Your history as an individual performer, your history as a band, things that you have experienced as a group, all of that kind of fun stuff that tells a real story about what you have experienced that has gotten you to this point of performing in front of this audience. A great example of this that I have seen personally is Sir Paul McCartney. He performed with the Beatles for many years. He's performed on his own. He's also interacted with a lot of different other performers. So he has some fantastic stories to tell. And you're sitting there going, this can't be real. This is a joke. But it's Paul McCartney telling you the story. So it could very much have really happened. Called out to his friend, Jimi Hendrix. Jimmy fiddled around with the guitar a whole bunch, really liked it, and he goes, "Yeah, my buddy would really like this." And he calls out his friend, Eric Clapton. And I'm going, no way, no way. But the truth is, you're sitting there listening to every inch of this story, and whether it's true or not, Paul McCartney has me captivated by listening to his story. The other great thing that Paul did with his performance is that he created chapters in his show. He started with a lot of hits that everybody knew. After what I would call the first chapter there, he brought his musicians out to the front of the stage. It created this vibe that really kind of slowed down the show, but made it feel really homey. Then all of the musicians went off the stage, and Paul stayed out on stage by himself and went up onto this little pedestal thing where he told that story about Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton. And then he proceeded to play a couple of songs with just him and an acoustic guitar. And finally, he ended with a big finale of bigger songs, pyrotechnics, fire and lights and big TV screens and a whole bunch of things that were going on to make it feel really exciting, and it kind of ended the show on a very, very high note. He told an entire story through different chapters of his show. He set up his show in a way that you can't stop watching and you can't stop listening. And that is the ideal situation when you're telling a story with your show. You want to keep your audience captivated and paying attention to everything you do. A second type of storytelling that you can do is figure out what your purpose is as a group or as a performer. Now, what do I mean by that? There are groups out there that their entire purpose is to empower somebody or raise money for some group. They have a defining goal that is driving them to perform in front of the audience that they're in front of. Think of people like Taylor Swift, who are known for their performing and their music, but she is equally known for being very much an empowerment person that supports great people and great causes. One great example that I've seen of this in the Midwest of the United States, near where I live, is there's a group regionally here called Whoa Man. This group was entirely set up to encourage female empowerment. And the way that they do that is by showing off music that was from female-driven groups over many, many years. So they play a lot of things like the Bangles and a lot of other groups that are female-led, and the entire purpose of their show is to celebrate female performers and empowering women. And the thing I love about this group is that kids like my daughters love this because they get to see somebody that is a very strong, independent woman doing their thing on stage because that's what they wanted to do. So if you feel that that's something that you could do well in your own show, figure out what causes you want to support and talk about that. The third way that you can tell a story on stage that I'm going to talk about today involves more of a personal struggle or a hurdle that you've had to overcome, something that has been a challenge to you as an individual performer or as a band, and how you were able to overcome and move forward. This kind of story involves diving deeper into your own soul and being willing to open up that soul to your audience a little bit more. Now, a great example of this is a young woman named Jojo Siwa, who has become famous over the last several years, and she's known for doing a lot of children's music that is really high energy and very entertaining. Jojo came out as gay to the world about 2 years or so ago, and when I took my children to see her live, she talked about that in her personal journey of how she dealt with that, and she brought that back into her show by telling her fans, you be exactly who you want to be, because whether or not your parents love you, your friends love you, your fans love you, I, Jojo Siwa, love you because you are who you are. And I thought that that was a really, really well done story because it taught people like my daughters it's okay to live the life that you want to live and drive yourself to be who you want to be. If you have a personal struggle or a hurdle that you've overcome as an artist, as a performer, you can tell that story and you can relate it back to your audience in a way that makes sense for them to take it in and do something with it. I do encourage you to figure out how you want to tell a story to your audience and make it so that it is, again, relatable and action-driven so that you can connect with your audience and they want to pay attention to you. So thanks again for watching this week. Quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that and join my email list at DannyRobertsonMusic.com. In the meantime, I hope you have a great next week. Best of luck to you on your next great performance, and I'll see you soon. Take care.